While you were watching TV, so on and so forth. Well, after my speech, we had a Q&A session, and one of the questions was about, well, what effect, if any, has social media had on politics in general, not just election night, but politics in general? And to further talk about this topic on politics and social media, our first guest is Marianne Mancuso. She joins us now. She's Skyping, as you can tell. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Harris. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Let me tell people just a little bit about you so that they know why you're here. You've got a wide variety of reaching out to voters and viewers in politics, because you were the former Deputy Communications Director for Connie Mack for Senate campaign in Florida. So you know how this thing works. I want to start with you by how did you see social media really affecting the election this past November?
Well, you know, we actually saw social media start to affect the election and campaigns in 2008 with Barack Obama, and then by 2012, the Republicans really picked up and began to run with it, as well as the Democrats. You know, from a state side, from the Senate campaign, we saw Connie Mack. We really used it to promote our events, our Freedom Bus tour, as well as kind of push our candidates' message out there to the voters and make the voters feel that they were part of the campaign.
So you're telling us some ways, too, that digital media were used and how you were part of that campaign down in Florida. And, you know, we can't miss this point. It's free, people. It's free. So as many people, Marianne, are complaining about the cost of elections and so on and so forth, social media may actually have an impact on that.
Absolutely. It's actually starting to take over from TV ad buys. We saw way back when TV started to take over from radio ad buys. Now we're seeing social media take over from TV ad buys because it is free. It doesn't cost the campaign a lot of money. And it is a way to connect with your voters on a larger scale than just sending a direct mail piece or maybe just reaching for the TV, because a lot of times people are DVRing their shows and they're not watching the commercials. They're fast-forwarding right through them.
Yeah, we know all about that. People tend to mute us, too. Don't like it. Don't like it at all. Is there a downside to the intrusion of social media? And I say intrusion because literally people are watching several different types of screens of all sizes at the same time while on their laptop, so on and so forth.
Yeah, you know, I think there is. You have to kind of break through all the noise, and that's something we tried really hard to do on Connie Mack's campaign. And the way we did this is by creating the hashtag MackMentum, and we were able to cut through all the noise of everybody else because people really used that hashtag and they ran with it. I mean, we did really great things on Twitter with it, and we had people posting pictures when they would see our tour bus or when they would see Connie out and about. And we even saw that with Romney doing the same thing. They used a hashtag, and they actually used their very own Twitter handle during the debate so people could connect and really reach out to the Romney campaign. You
know, something you said, I mean, just if we can delve in more of the politics than the digital side, something you said early on made me think. You mentioned that then-candidate Barack Obama used this in 2008 in a way that Republicans were not yet using it. Why was there a lag, and have you made up the difference?
You know, what we actually saw is, I'm going to dial back to 2004 with Howard Dean. Howard Dean was credited as being the godfather of social media. He laid the blueprint for what Barack Obama would use in 2008. And in 2012, the Republicans finally woke up. However, the problem is that the Republicans were unable to anticipate what the next social media trend is going to be. And so we're trying to really work hard in 2014 to close that digital gap.
All right. And what are some of the things that you're doing? What are some of the strategies?
You know, one of the strategies is we're starting to look to mobile devices, smartphones, iPhones, Androids, iPads. We're looking to that because everybody has it with you. I mean, when was the last time you left your house without your cell phone?
And didn't, like, bless myself out loud? I can't remember.
Exactly. So we're actually bringing the social media front to the phone. We're making sure that the websites are compatible with the iPhone and the Android, and that you can reach out and see what your candidate's doing or see what the politicians that you've elected to Congress are doing for you.
Interesting. Not to get too far ahead, but if you could telegraph maybe just until the next presidential election, 2016, where do you see social media really playing a part in politics?
You know, I actually see that it's become a stronghold, and I run a lecture series called Politics 3.0, and it explains how social media has changed the landscape of politics in general and campaigns. We see candidates having to be on Twitter and Facebook because the campaign doesn't sleep anymore. It's not the news cycle that we used to have. Now it's 24/7, and news is being broken over Twitter constantly.
Do you think that voters and viewers are missing an opportunity if they don't voice their opinions via this way now? I mean, just how much power or influence do viewers and voters have at this point like never before?
They have a lot of power and they have a lot of influence, and the reason is because people are listening. If you don't pay attention to what people are saying on Twitter or Facebook, at the end of the day, it could turn into a viral problem, and then you have a reputation management issue.
Oh, that's really interesting. So what you're saying is that if people aren't feeling like they've been heard, sometimes that can become a problem for a campaign.
Absolutely. Yes. On the Connie Mac's campaign, we monitored Twitter and Facebook round the clock, and we made sure that when people were messaging Connie and they were putting things up and saying, hey, I voted for you, we were letting them know that we heard that, and we said, thank you for your support.
What's also interesting, too, we talk about the need for jobs and job creation in this country. The specific nature of what you have to know to be able to not just get on and tweet and Facebook posts, but really negotiate conversations online and extrapolate useful information. That's a tool that maybe people can put on their resume now, and it becomes a very, very good tool to have. Marianne Mancuso, thanks so much for joining us. Hope you'll come back another time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Happy holidays to you.
You too.
All right. Now, while I've been doing this,